If you want to understand the future of your bank account, your savings, and the standard of living in the United States, you need to look past the daily news cycle and look at what is happening behind closed doors on global stage. Right now, a coalition of powerful nations, including Saudi Arabia, China, and is launching a direct structural threat to the US dollar. This isn't just another geopolitical disagreement. This is a quiet coup that could rewrite the entire global monetary system as we know it. To understand how dangerous this is, we have to ask a fundamental question. How can the United States sit on nearly 40 trillion in national debt, printing money endlessly, and yet somehow avoid a catastrophic hyperinflation? The answer is simple: global reserve currency status. Because the US dollar is the world's default currency, there is an artificial, instable global demand for it. If a country wants to buy goods, trade internationally, or store wealth safely, they need the dollars to secure those dollars. They buy US debt. Historically, Washington should secure this monetary through two main pillars. First one, the SWIFT system, a dollar-denominated financial measuring network that handles almost all international payments. If you want to move money globally, you pay by American rules. Two, the Petrodollar agreement, a decade-old pact ensuring that the global oil is priced the solid strictly on US dollars. This combination didn't just ensure demand of our currency, it gave the United States unprecedented leverage. We get to export our inflation to the rest of the world while enjoying a vastly inflated standard of living at home. But the rest of the world is tired of having the dollar weaponized against them. Every time the US uses sanctions to cut a country off from the SWIFT or freeze their assets, other nations realize just how vulnerable they are. Enter the project mBridge, developed by China, Thailand, UAE, and crucially Saudi Arabia. Along beside the Bank of International Settlements, mBridge is a decentralized digital payment infrastructure. It allows these nations to bypass the SWIFT network entirely on settled cross-border trades, directly using their own central bank digital currency, CBDCs. This isn't a theoretical concept. It has been a development for years and is actively launching it. It completely circumvents the US banking system, rendering the traditional dollar-denominated gatekeepers obsolete. So the debt of the petrodollar, think about that. The names on the list is Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and world's oil powerhouse. If these nations begin selling oil trade to local currencies via mBridge, the petrodollar agreement officially crumbles. Once that agreement dies, the global mandate to hold the US dollars vanishes. And that brings us to the math problem. Our 40 trillion debt isn't going away, and Washington's spending isn't stopping. When a foreign central bank stops buying our debt because they no longer need the dollars, who becomes the buyer of the last resort? The Federal Reserve. The Fed will be forced to buy our own debt by printing more money, but you cannot create trillions of new currency units out of thin air without diluting the value of every dollar currently in existence. It's simple economics. Your purchasing power will be utterly decimated. We've already felt a sting of inflation over the last few years, but that was just a preview. If the global demand for the dollar dries up, a tsunami of unbacked currency will flood back home, causing rapid, severe domestic inflation. This isn't fear-mongering, and it isn't conspiracy theory. These are institutional facts, and infrastructure is being deployed right now. Will the dollar collapse tomorrow morning? No, this is structural erosion, not an overnight explosion. But the trend is undeniable and the train has officially left the station. The American standard of living as we know it for the last 50 years is facing an expiration date. The system isn't going to magically fix itself. The only thing left for individuals to do is realize what's coming. Look at the data objectively and prepare accordingly. Because if you aren't paying attention to mBridge, you are missing the biggest economic shift of our lifetime.